Hey guys, this is Jeff Suey, and this is a quick and very dirty video that I wanted to put together to answer the questions that you gave me during the live webinar, How to Start an Online Coaching Business. Again, I apologize I wasn't able to answer all these questions during the webinar. We had a flurry of them throughout the webinar actually, and because the demonstration and I went a little long and everything, we not only ended up going a bit long in the webinar, but I also we didn't even have time to answer some of your questions that you took the trouble to put in the chat window. So I'm going to answer all those questions that at least I can tell are questions right now, and I'm going to post this, and you're watching the video right now, which is a beautiful thing. So let's just go ahead and start right at the top. So Dr. Caspian says, what about a client looking for free services by complaining about you, like those who put a hair in food at great restaurants? Wow, okay, that's a very specific situation. So that, first of all, that tells me that's actually kind of a good problem to have. Let me explain. If somebody's actually trying to get your services and they know enough about you to get your services, then one of like two or three things is chances are the case. Either one, you're so well known that somebody's actually attacking you out there so they can work with you because you're in demand. Number two, you've already had this person as a paying client, and so you've already gotten a fee from them and received income as a result of your relationship with them, and now they're just maybe acting without so much integrity to try to get more services. Those are pretty much the only two situations I can think of that where somebody would be doing this, because people have to know about you to attack you, and so you either had a customer before or attracted someone as doing a free session, and then they started deciding to try to get you, or you don't even know who this person is and they're just out there in the world doing their thing. So look, I mean, people use the internet now, social media and any other megaphone they can to attack other people, to complain, to say nasty things, etc. You can't, you're never going to get away from that. So the bigger you get and the more successful you get and the more people that you've helped, hopefully, that are also touting you on social media and giving testimonials and things like that, you're going to have a small percentage, even if you're doing a great job, that are just gonna, that's what they do for whatever reason. That's how they meet their needs, is by trying to put other people down. As one of my mentors used to say, one of the ways to really make yourself feel good when you've been trying to build something and you don't have a very tall building is break all explode and break everybody else's tall building down, basically. So you end up being the tallest building in the city by default, ultimately. So number one, chances are this is a good problem to have, because that means that you've probably been fairly successful, or else that probably would have never happened. Because this person probably values your service to some extent, or else they wouldn't be doing that kind of thing. But let's put it this way. If somebody does that, there's a lot of approaches you can take. You can obviously just cave in and just give them service, right? Sometimes somebody like that, if you just go ahead and give them something and manage the relationship to some extent, so that they're ultimately maybe not happy, but their motivation to hurt you has reduced a bit, you'll find that they'll just move on, and after a while, they go and try to hurt somebody else, basically. I don't know that that's the best strategy for you, but you could definitely just say, okay, here, let me see what I can do to help you out. Give them some free service if that's what you choose to do, use your skills as a helper, as a doctor, as a influencer, as a nice person to try and mediate a relationship where they are less interested in attacking you then. sometimes just getting to know someone is the best way to eliminate an antagonistic or a hurtful relationship, because a lot of times the antagonism and the attacks and the wars and battles that are happening between people are simply because they don't talk to each other. They don't communicate. There's no connection there, and you connect with them, and all of a sudden it kind of diffuses the bomb a bit. So that's an approach you could consider. Another approach could be if they're complaining actively in forums or social media or whatever, simply respond to the complaints. That's generally what I'll do when someone posts something and they say, your approach, you're stupid, or, I can't believe you would do that, or something like that. And usually somebody's responding to, old dogma and something that they've been programmed to believe, and they're not very open to my approach or how I'm communicating, or something like that, right? Some real open-minded comment, right? I'll just respond to it. I'll just say, and I generally don't try to attack the person, but I will respond to the complaint, right? Like just the other day, somebody was in one of my courses. It's a public course, and they commented that, I can't believe you would ever use guilt tripping to hold someone accountable. I'm not gonna listen to any more of your stuff. I'm done with you. It was a real kind and generous comment, right? And I just responded to their specific, I didn't respond to their upset. I responded to their specific issue that they brought to bear, which was that I was trying to make people feel guilty in my accountability methodology. And just couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, in fact, guilt has nothing to do with what we teach around accountability. And so I just clarified that. I said, I apologize that, I wasn't communicating this clearly, that, this has nothing to do with guilt. In fact, I've just listened to the video that you watch, and I not once said, we're trying to make you feel guilty or something like that. Here's what the real intention is. And I just clarified what I could, basically. And so you just respond to those things generously, in an open way, where you really are trying to contribute to the individual that made the comment and to anyone else who's listening. And that's another approach that you can take. And finally, the last approach is you just ignore it. Just let them say what they're going to say. Eventually, people generally fizzle out unless you're a celebrity, and then they'll follow you till kingdom come, right? But if you're, if you are not like a target for millions of people, chances are after, a series of weeks or months, somebody usually will move on when they don't get a rise out of you. They don't get what they're after. How it is when people try to push your buttons. If the button doesn't work, they stop pushing it, So that's the best I can give you on that without getting more specifics on the situation. Janet says, I've been leading a grief recovery ministry at my church for the past 4 years, after losing my son to a heroin overdose. I have decided to start a coaching business to help contribute to our retirement. Great. I am struggling with taking clients from the ministry and charging them money when I basically am already coaching them for free. Wondering what my niche should be. Maybe helping them move on after they have had some healing from the ministry as a continuation of the process. What is your feeling on this? I might just be feeling guilty about making money at this. Yes, how dare you help people and get paid for it. So, so there's a couple layers to this. First of all, it's great, the contribution that you're making, which is fantastic. I think ministry and associated services where it's a social contribution and you're just giving out there in society in a community setting is one of the most inspiring things for us to experience and participate in. It's also one of the most inspiring things for people to receive as well. So just fantastic. Can't acknowledge you enough for doing that. I would encourage you to continue that journey and that mission. Now, in terms of the line between contribution and collecting money, the contribution and actual transactions, you get to decide where to draw the line, first of all. That's up to you. That's not up to anybody else. It's not up to the ministry. It's not up to the government. It's not up to anybody. It's up to you. Okay, this is a free country. You get to do whatever you want. Now, maybe the ministry has certain rules, and so like if you decide you're going to charge everybody money for showing up at your recovery group, they're also free to not work with you anymore, right? And not let you use their facilities or whatever, right? So everybody's free to do what they want. Let's just clarify that right up front. And some coaches are very concerned about like what other people think and what groups of people feel about them and stuff like that. And that concern is probably fair to some extent. But when we are worried more about looking into others and being accepted by our peer groups versus making the contribution, serving the mission, and serving ourselves and our families as in the process of that, if we're not concerned about that more and make that a priority, well, other people's agendas will basically run our lives, right? So we can't let that happen. I mean, you can honor someone's agenda, you can respect it, you can even appreciate it, right? But you can't live it. You can't live off of it. You got to live off of your own agenda. That's your right as a free human, right? And God or the universe has given us that gift. No one gets to take that away from you, including people that have helped you in the past that may try to induce some reciprocation or make you feel obligated or guilty, as you were talking about. And that also includes people that are even close to us. Sometimes the people that are closest to us are the ones that push our buttons the most, even if they love us, even if they care. So we got to be careful about that and know which master we have decided to serve. Are you serving the universe and God and the mission that has been given to you that has kind of come out of the sky, or are you serving some person that may not be aligned with that mission, or may not even understand and appreciate that mission, even if they care about you, right? So that's the first thing. We got to decide you're making this decision, no one else. That's number one. No, now, with that aside, first thing is, I mean, you're basically, your suggestion is take clients from the ministry, charging them money, already coaching them for free. This happens all the time. Let's put it this way. I mean, I've gotten plenty of clients from networks and areas where I'm giving a contribution, and then they're like, you know what? I want to work with you, Jeff. This is great. I love the conversation we just had. I know you're a coach. Let me know what your fees are. I'm ready to go. And they become paying clients, right? Now, could they have still gotten some free advice from me in the mastermind that I was running, or in the ministry that I was a part of, or in the group that I was helping? Of course they could have, right? But they wanted more. They wanted more than what that free thing provides. Generally speaking, most free things, unless it's like a one-time one-on-one session, in fact, even that is included in this, most free things that we can get, whether they're contribution or not, they're limited in the value that you get from them. That's why they can be free, right? So let's just be clear. Free stuff is usually not enough for getting the full Monty, the full value of what that type of service or product can offer. So don't rob the people that you're helping for free. Don't rob them of the chance to get the most out of their life, the most out of your help, the abundance that you can truly provide. Free sessions are one time. That's scarce. Free groups generally they'll meet maybe once a week, once a month, something like that. And it's usually a group of 5, 10, 20, 50 people. If I'm in that group, I might get something. There's no doubt I might get some value from it, but I'm not going to get anywhere close to the value I might get if I meet with that individual, if I meet with you one-on-one more regularly, and you're being paid, and your number one priority, your only priority during those sessions is to help me. Okay, so no reason to feel guilty about that. That's actually the only thing to feel guilty about in this case would be to possibly rob the people that you're already contributing to at maybe a low level or a moderate level the chance to get the ultimate in contribution from you. That I would personally feel guilty about that if I didn't make that available to them. Now, obviously, you can overdo that. You can use your influence to force people to pay you or something like that. Use your authority, if you will. So you don't want to misuse whatever power you've gained by making that contribution, but use it for their benefit. And as long as, they can afford it and it's something they truly need and want, the best thing to do is get them into coaching or get them into something where they are paying you and there's an exchange where you can truly focus on helping them the most. We can't help others if we're starving ourselves. The best way to help, let's say, someone who's in scarcity or poor, if you will, is not to become that person, is not to go into scarcity and become poor ourselves. That would be crazy. So there's plenty of metaphors to discuss it. I won't belabor that piece. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of just the psychology of this, helping them move on after they've had some healing from the ministry as a continuation of the process. That sounds great, but you may not even know what opportunity there is to help them until you talk to them, one-on-one. In the group, you already know what their concerns are, what their frustrations are, what some of their fears are, desires, etc., which is great. Pull them into one-on-one free sessions now, or offer that to the group. Say, hey, I'm willing to do one-on-one with anybody who's interested. And then in the one-on-one, then you can work out how you can help each individual. You can customize it to them. This is, unless you got hundreds of people that you're meeting with in these types of groups, I probably wouldn't try to generalize the niche at this point. Although I'm sure you know a lot about these individuals since you've been meeting with them quite a bit. This looks like not as much a niche discussion as it is a discussion of how to enter into that paid relationship. And the way to do it in this case is offer a free one-on-one. Because in a group, you can't just, well, you can, but generally speaking, I wouldn't advise, if you're ongoingly offering free services to a group, I wouldn't walk into the group one day and say, hey guys, if you want to pay me, come talk to me. Right? That's not exactly the most elegant way to attract somebody to work with you and actually create a transactional relationship on top of the contribution relationship that you've already created and that you can create with them. The way to do it is continue the contribution at a higher level, i.e. one-on-one, and just make that a one-time thing. And then at the end of that one-on-one, you can talk about, a transaction that you guys can make, a quid pro quo type of relationship where you truly can serve them at an even higher level without just gifting your time and energy to them, and with giving them even more of what you have to offer that they may want or need. If they don't want it or need it, don't offer it. If they want it or need it, it's your obligation, in my opinion, your moral obligation to offer that next level, and part of that next level is you get paid. That's all. It's just part of the process. Okay, let's continue. Michelle says, I'm very strong, confident, spiritual, fun, loving, and I love working with women who are opposite of me to inspire them to become similar, as so many women I personally know wish they were like me. All right. I always laugh at that, but that's what they say and want. I love working with relationships both personally and professionally. How do I externalize this? Okay. Well, sounds like relationship coaching is an obvious one, right? Because you're already talking about working with relationships. So if you're helping people in their marriage or dating or blah, 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 so that kind of stuff, you could just work with women, by the way, like you're talking about. And I coach women on this aspect of their relationship, or I'm a relationship coach for women. There's a great niche. It's crazy great. It's crazy lucrative, right? So there's a start of the externalization. And then there's different factors in a relationship that you could think about, right? Like marriage and divorce and dating and sex and families and interpersonal stuff, socializing, all, we can go on and on, right? So all those are externalizations, right? Because they're physical situations. They're not just concepts that you like to do. It's actual outcomes that you can produce and help people with that passion that we just talked about externalizing, right? So that's an obvious one. However, relationships also exist in business, and relationships also exist in health, and beauty and wellness as well. So the other mega niches, relationships have an impact there. Probably not so much health and wellness and fitness and beauty, but there are relationships that occur there that their relationship with themselves, at least. Obviously, that's a big one. But in business, business is about relationships, right? It's about money too, but relationships is a huge aspect of that. So you can use that passion in business and probably have an even more lucrative hourly fee from that work that you do. But I would pick one first and then you can expand to other niches. The beautiful thing about coaches and our skills is that our skills work for just about any area. The hard thing about it is that generally we just try to do every area all at once. And you just don't have the time for that. You got to start with one and then move to another and move to another. And there's tons of flexibility in how you can make money as a coach, because your skills can impact these relationship coaching skills that you've got can impact the relationship niche, can impact the business niche. Those are $2 million businesses right there. That somebody who's listening to this will probably start and ultimately create. So don't hesitate to pick one of those niches and just go for it with your passion. It sounds great. Okay, Dr. Caspian says the idea sold by media that healthcare should be free has been a difficult issue to overcome in my community. Excited to be moving into the internet arena. Yeah, the beautiful thing about the internet is that it gets you out of your community into the world community. Good point. It's okay that people have an idea that certain things should be free. You just gotta, when you're giving them something free, you need to also educate them as to what they should think about paying for and why that's more valuable than just taking the free stuff, and then make that the price something that's much lower than the value that you have convinced them there is there. So if somebody thinks the value of something that they can't get for free is $100, you can't charge $1,000 for it. You got to charge like $10 or $20 for that, and then you'll sell it like hotcakes. Now you can find something else that you can give them that they perceive as $1,000 of the value, and then maybe you can sell it for $200, $300, $400, right? So this is about value in their mind, and then pricing it accordingly, lower than the perception of what the value is, and then they're always getting a great deal, and then you can make money and help people as well. All right, next, Gayleen says, does happiness fit into one of those mega niches? I think she meant niches there. Does happiness fit into one of those mega niches? And so happiness is an emotion, and it's not a need. It's not a specific, measurable external need that people have. Happiness is an internal thing. So you got to externalize the happiness. I will guarantee you that if you talk to your clients or your prospects or anybody that you could talk to, any demographic, any group, any geographic area, whatever, when you ask them, what's it going to take for you to be happy? They're going to say, I need to find a relationship. I need to get a divorce. I need to get more dates. Or they're going to say something like, I need to make more money, or I need to start a business, or I need to improve my business, or I need to get a better career. Or they're going to say, I need to cure my cancer, or I need to fix my chronic illness, or I need to get healthier, or I need to get more energy, or I need to get bigger muscles, right? They're going to say one of the three mega niches that we talked about. That is happiness for your customer. Now, yes, could they just, be sick and be alone and be broke and homeless and still be happy? Well, yeah. But what's the chances of getting a client by telling them, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be happy with having nothing, basically, and being completely alone? I mean, that's not a very attractive offer. Let's just put it that way, right? Now, sometimes people, we know this story. Eckhart Tolle said everybody wanted what he had, and he was like homeless at the time, right? And he was just like talking to people. Well, that's a nice story. I haven't personally met any coaches that actually took that approach and got a bunch of clients from it. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I've never seen it in the thousands of coaches that I've worked with. So this approach, however, finding an externalization of that happiness, of what people believe equals happiness, no matter how superficial it is, works quite nicely and gets a ton of clients. So I would take that approach above the traveling profit approach, at least to try at first. All right, Betty says asks, where do personal growth, strengths, values, etc. fall in your mega niches? You need that for any of those, right? So personal growth, strengths, and values is not an external superficial want that the prospective client is focused on. Now, there are some people that are focused on personal growth. There's no doubt about that. And values and that kind of stuff. They're few and far between. So it's very, very hard. It's like 1% of the population is focused on personal growth. So can you set up an online niche just about personal growth? Yes, you and about 15 million other coaches that have all just started their business. So if you want a niche that is flooded with coaches that is so hard to compete in, and that the gurus have already basically taken 99.9% of the business, the Tony Robbins, the Brian Tracy's, the Eckhart Tolle's, the Dr. Phil or whoever, right? Personal growth. Those guys own your customer. So unless you are going to JV with them, you're probably not going to get any clients from that approach on the internet, just because that market is flooded already. So I'm not saying it's not a valid niche. I'm just saying you shouldn't be focused on that one at first if you want to be successful, because that's just, it's not a guaranteed failure, but it's a high probability of failure. And I want to weigh the odds in your favor. Now, again, as coaches, we are gluttons for personal development, but just don't tell your clients that's the case, because most of them aren't, which is why they need to hire you. If they're gluttons for personal growth and all that kind of stuff, they wouldn't need you as a coach, chances are, or they wouldn't think they need you. I mean, we know everybody needs a coach, right? They'd be like, I already got all the personal growth I need. I don't need a free session with you. And then all of a sudden you lost a prospect, right? However, the ones that are, in pain, the ones that are in fear, the ones that are frustrated with their life, the ones that have deep desires that they're not able to fulfill yet, they need help with, those guys are interested in relationships. They're interested in money and business, and they're interested in fixing or improving their health and fitness and wellness. Guaranteed, that's what they're interested in. Even though personal growth will help them with that, they don't necessarily believe or know that at this point. So focus on those mega niches. All right. Dr. Caspian says, do you have any demographics that define who seeks coaching services? Nobody seeks coaching services, just so you know. So yeah, I've got demographics. They're nobody. All right. So there's no such thing as people that are out there on the internet searching for coaching, basically. Now, there's no doubt there's a lot of searches for coaching, but those individuals are not, they're not buyers of coaching services. Okay. So I got plenty of demographics for people that are looking to get married or get divorced or get dates. I got plenty of demographics of people that need to start a business or fix their business or get a better career. Got plenty of demographics for people that are trying to fix their health or improve their fitness or something like that. In fact, all of us could probably hallucinate the people that are more likely to want information about how to get dates or how to cure a disease or something like that. We know their age. We probably know the majority of, whether it's majority of women or a majority of men. Like we know when these problems come up in life. Right? So think from that more specific perspective. What the average client pays for these services. It really depends on the niche, but in my experience across many different niches, you can expect a minimal coaching fee of $200 to $300 a month. I usually kind of split the difference at about $250 to $275 as an estimate. When I topped out in my coaching fees, I never really charged more than like $575 a month. A lot of my students charge $1,000 a month for their services. I think that's wonderful. I have team members that where we have as a team charged over $1,000 a month for coaching services. But I would say the minimum that I would start with, if I'm comfortable with it, if you're not, you can charge less. But the minimum that I'm really shooting for at first with just about any client is in the $200 to $300 a month range. Anybody who really is serious about getting some gains and has some skin in the game for themselves and their life with coaching, chances are going to be willing to pay that. And also, by the way, if you go below that number, the business model starts getting real hard unless you're coaching groups. So if I'm making $100 a month a client, I got to have like 40, 50 clients just to make ends meet, right? 4,000 or 5,000 a month. 40, 50 clients, I'm getting really busy coaching those people. I could be a full-time job for me, and I still got to run a business as well. All right, Corrine asks, finances, relationship, health, wellness, weight loss, beauty, is this too broad? Well, any of those specifically, finances or relationships or health or wellness or weight loss or beauty, any of those specifically is not too broad. But if you just chain all those together at the same time, well, yeah, that would be That's not too broad. It's just you're not focusing on one of them. So you need to pick one. But other than that, yeah, you got the idea. Now, by the way, eventually that may be a little broad for where you ultimately need to end up. But if you just pick one of those, that's plenty narrow for now. And then you can drill down over time. And we work with a lot of our students on drilling down once they've made the big choice. But making the big choice sometimes is hard for our students as well. Or will having all these areas help get more clients? Yeah, if you have the time to manage all those niches, which you probably don't. So I would pick one or two. In fact, if they have some overlap, that's ideal. But I'd pick one or two and just work with those, unless you're in a local market and just kind of going and networking and stuff. And then niches are not as important in a local market. If you're on the internet, I'd pick one of those and get your properties set up first. Janet asks, you are answering a lot of my questions already. Okay, great. My mega niche is wellness, emotional wellness. Should I be as specific as grief, life, recovery after death of a loved one? Grief and recovery is a great niche. There's millions of dollars made by many coaches in that niche. So you could just pick grief and recovery coaching or grief and recovery help with grief, help with recovery. People search on those terms all the time on the internet, and you can get plenty of free sessions and ultimately paying clients from that. After death of a loved one, that's a good question. We'd have to look at that and research how specific you can be without eliminating too much of your market. So I'd start with grief and recovery, and then drill down later after you've gotten some traffic and some customers from it. Shamika asks, I've been under the impression that I should be an expert in my niche per se before coaching, but you think differently. Yes. You don't need to be an expert in your niche. You just need to be an expert in coaching. Coaching is what makes a difference for people, not how-to information, not expertise. Expertise is helpful, but easy to find usually. There's a zillion books on Amazon. There's libraries. There's the internet now. Expertise is a dime a dozen. And if expertise was all it took in order for people to transform their lives, their relationships, etc., then everybody'd be wonderful right now, and nobody need coaching. So you just need to be a great coach. All right. Now look, most of the coaches, when even if they come to me and they've already been trained, suck. They are lousy coaches. They do a shit job. I'm sorry, excuse my French, but they do a bad job. Let me put it that way, at coaching. And then they might even be experts, but they're sucking at the service that they're promising their clients. So you got to be a phenomenal coach, in my opinion, to really make a difference for people. And your expertise is secondary. For providing the change, transformation, and growth that your client needs or wants in whatever areas, whatever niche you're working with them on. Now you can be an expert in working with a certain type of client without being an expert in what the client is an expert in. So when I coach a real estate agent, I'll tell them, look, you're the star. You're the one who's got to be an expert in bouncing the ball and making baskets or doing closings or whatever you guys do. I'm the expert in helping you to get all that to happen in a way that works best for your life and get that to happen in a way that makes you the most money and yada, yada, yada. That's what I'm an expert in. They want that expertise. They don't need me to be a better realtor than them, okay? So just hopefully that's clear. Expert in coaching, expert in working in a certain niche, or expert in working with certain types of people, and then expert in an area that those people happen to be experts in or should be experts in themselves. I would say tell them to go become experts in those areas, coach them to do that, and you be an expert in really helping them get the best results. Part of that means you may gain some expertise about their area, but that, like I said, that's second or third on the list in terms of expertise. So yes, I think differently. And by the way, you don't need to be an expert in those areas in order to attract clients. Can it help? Yeah, it definitely can help. I'm definitely an expert in making plenty of money and getting plenty of clients and helping people and changing lives as a coach. That expertise has helped me in this niche that we're talking in right now. Because coaches know it's like, well, if you want to be a master coach, or you want to, make six figures as a coach, or you want to, turn your practice around, you want to get started quickly and successfully, like Jeff's the guy. Jeff's an expert in that. So that's definitely helped me in this niche. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of other things that have nothing to do with that expertise has made a difference for our students as well as other clients on top of that. So does it help? Yes. Do you need it? Is it required? Heck no. Let's see. Expert meaning successful, like in real estate. No, yeah, exactly. No, that's definitely not required. And there's different approaches to take depending on if you're an expert or if you're not an expert, and we can work with you on that. Janet asks, when you charge per month, how many sessions is that per month? Let's see. If I'm coaching somebody, where I seldom do one-on-one coaching anymore, but if I am, I coach 3 weeks out of the month, and then I take a week or two off depending on how long the month is. So first 3 weeks of the month I coach, and then I'm off. So 3 sessions a month basically, and those are consecutive weeks more often than not. Our coaches, if like accountability coaches that work with you, if you're hiring one of our accountability coaches, they work with people weekly because we know that accountability, you can't really take a week off, keep the momentum going, keep the action happening. Strategy coaching, however, our strategy coaches don't coach more than 1 session a month, just one really good hour and a half session. And a strategy coach can give you everything you need for at least 30 days from that one session. So it's really dependent on the type of coaching you're giving, the deliverables, the promises you're making to your customer and your client. I mean, if I had to just say what the general gist of it is, it's usually, if there's like 2 fee levels, if you're charging $250 a month and let's say $350 a month, the $250 a month might be 2 sessions a month. Like week 1 and then the 3rd week of the month. And then $350 a month might be weekly sessions, right? So you can do things like that and give them a bit of a discount if they decide to go with the premium level. Things like that you can do. And then in terms of time, again, that really depends on your style. I know coaches that won't do more than a 15-minute session, and they crush it in those 15 minutes. They do a phenomenal job in a 15-minute session. I also know coaches who, if they don't coach you for like an hour and a half, you're not going to get the result. Right? So it really depends on your style and your skill set. What we like to see with our coaches and our students is that they get to the point where in under an hour, they can produce a life change, like a true transformation at any level with a client for whatever that client really needs and wants. And when we do that, we know that that coach is efficient enough to be able to deliver great results in a time frame that most clients are going to hope for or want. That'll make the fee really worthwhile. If it takes you all day with a client to get, a transformation, then, it's like that's actually a lower fee because they have to spend all their time to get that. So I want somebody to be able to really change their life in like an hour. And I have the skills to do that. Our team has the skills to do that. And if you have the skills to do that, then you're going to be in great shape for a 45, 50-minute session. If not, it might take longer, and that could impact your arrangements that you make and your fees as well. So that's the ideal. It's not necessarily the case all the time. So look to your style and what you deliver and work out your own numbers there as to what you know is going to make sense to you, because you're the coach. If you can't deliver what you are offering and promising, you're not going to have a very good business. So work it out for how you need to do it. That's the nice thing about coaching is it's not McDonald's. This is not a cookie cutter business. This is personalized to each coach as to their style, their expertise, their abilities, and their clients as well. And so it's a co-created service between you and your client. Durga asks, what are the products? What are the products that can be used? I think you were talking about when we were talking about products in the income streams for a coach. Products can be online products. Like I have a lot of online products. You can download videos and stream videos and audios from the internet and download PDF workbooks and things like that. That's great. You can also have any of those things in physical form, like you can give somebody a physical book or a workbook. You can give someone a physical CD, and they can play the CD in a CD player if anybody's got a CD player anymore. You can give out DVDs, right? So there's different physical forms of these products, basically. Hopefully that's what you're asking. I'm not sure if there's something I missed on that. Okay, Eileen asks, how much time does the person you're coaching get for $250 a month? I think we just talked about that. If somebody's paying in that range, generally I'd advise 2-3 sessions a month max, maybe 30-minute sessions. Again, depends on your style. You can do more or less depending on what your market is. Let's see. We talked about SEO in the webinar a little bit, but SEO just stands for search engine optimization. That just means when somebody searches for you on Google for like health coaching or weight loss coaching or something like that, you come up at the top. And if you can make yourself come up at the top, just realize that around the world, there's hundreds of thousands of people searching on those terms. So if you have hundreds of thousands of people seeing you and clicking on your link, going to your website, and then giving you their contact info, you're going to have a lot of clients. And you can do that in your sleep, basically, once you set that system up. So that's what I like about SEO. SEO is very important, in my opinion, and we've leveraged that to meet tens of thousands of clients over the last 5 years. All right. Chaz asks, would love to work together. Email me. Okay, great. Great, Chaz. I will, in fact, I should probably copy that and make sure I put that separately, or else you will end up blending in with all the other comments. Okay, so I'll get in touch with you, Chaz. All right, great. Angela, finding people who need my services. So that's really what we're talking about overall. I'm not sure what the question is, but people that need your services want things that have very little to do with your services in their mind. So if I want a relationship, maybe I need your services in order to get that. But I'm not going to be like, I need Angela. I don't know that yet, right? So you have to approach me in a different way and talk about relationships rather than talking about you and your services. I don't care about you and your service. I care about my relationship. I care about my money, right? So you got to think about your client's selfishness, so to speak, and talk in the superficialities before you get deep and they start realizing, gosh, Angela knows about this. Angela can help me. I need Angela. But they're not going to know that until you have a free session with them, chances are. So you got to, it's a little bit of seduction here that goes on in the marketing process. And you can do it ethically and honestly, without like hurting people and helping people in the process actually, and also get paying customers. Dr. Caspian says, I live in a rural area and I need to master online skills fast. Yep. If you don't have a local market, online is what it's all about, in my opinion. Or you're going to need to travel, which I'm not really too hot on travel for work. I like to travel for vacations, but not for work. Let's see. Christy says, in your opinion, is it better to do this business alone or with a partner? Alone. Partnerships, 90% of partnerships, all partnerships across any business, any industry, fail. Consistently, this is the case. So when you're getting started in a business, generally, again, there are exceptions to this, right? But generally speaking, don't do it with a partner. Rely on yourself. Learn to do your business alone first. Then, if you find that it makes sense to have a partner and that you're ready for a partner because you already have successfully built something on your own, that would be the time to start entertaining partnerships. But generally speaking, the reason people get into partnerships before they even start is because they know they don't have what it takes themselves. And so it ends up being two people that are coming into a partnership because of their own business weaknesses. And they're trying to make up for those weaknesses with someone else who also is trying to make up for their weaknesses. So does that fit sometimes, like a hand in a glove? Yeah. If one person's great at marketing, the other person's great at sales and coaching, well, then they just need to hire an admin assistant and they might be okay, right? But if one person is good at coaching and the other person's good at coaching, well, they just got two people that are weak business people that are getting together and they suck at marketing, they suck at sales, they suck at everything else, right? And then they've got a business that's not making much money and two people are pulling the money out of that business. That's a recipe for failure. And also these people are probably not going to be very happy with each other once they realize that they're not really helping each other because they have total overlap in their abilities. So if you're going to find a partner, find somebody who is completely different than you, in terms of their abilities that they bring to the table for the business, that really fulfills valuable and important things for the business. I just talked to one of my students the other day, and he's on our team, in fact, and he has a coaching partnership with an individual who they have great relationship. They're a 50-50 partnership they just entered into. And he's like, I do all the sales and the marketing. I do most of the coaching. This guy basically like helps me with my content and nothing else. And he's taking half. And you know what? I'm not motivated to do my business anymore because I know I have to give away half of it to this guy. And I told him, I said, well, the reason why you're not motivated is because all the important things in the business you are doing, and he's doing some things that are like, they're important, but nowhere close to as important as the stuff that you provide. So you're irreplaceable. He is replaceable. There's a lot of people that love to do what he's doing. Although he maybe does it really well, it's not worth half of your business, and you know it. Which is why you're not motivated right now. So now he's having to unravel that partnership, basically. And it's kind of painful, but that's the best thing to do, because that would be unsustainable. Okay, let's see. Valencia asks or says, I'm an introvert. However, I know my niche. Just trying to overcome my barriers. Just trying to move forward, and I don't know how to do that. There are struggles. I need accountability. It's a struggle. Okay, great. Well, the first thing you need then, you already said it, is accountability. You just need to take some action that you're not taking, or else you probably wouldn't say, I need accountability. So you need to talk to us and get it, we can get you with an accountability coach and get you moving forward. And we're also obviously experts in this area, so we know what you should be doing. So it's not just you tell us what you should be accountable for. We can actually work with you on that battle plan so that it's clear the things that you really don't feel like doing, but you need to do, and we'll hold you accountable for those things as well once it's been fleshed out. You can work with other people, but we're happy to provide accountability coaching for you as well. Beyond just taking action, because sometimes people struggle with taking action, and that's understandable. Look, I struggled with taking action when I started. I still struggle to some extent with it, but I struggle with just getting myself to get on the phone and talk to people. But I knew that if I just kept working towards it, kept struggling, if you will, that eventually I'd overcome that. It took years to overcome it, but I overcame it. And I mastered that aspect of my business, and now I don't have to do it, which is really a cool thing. But first, you got to overcome those struggles. So keep up the struggle, get an accountability coach, and then get a great plan, and let us work with you to strategize exactly what's going to get you there the fastest, so you can, look, pain and a little bit of hard work and stuff that you don't want to do, that's unavoidable in any business, including the coaching business. However, it's not something you have to do for the rest of your life. If you do it for a year or two and you do it really well, and you do it enough, there's a point where it's like you've done it so much that you hit a tipping point and your business just explodes, and you don't need to do that stuff anymore. So I can't promise you that you won't have to do stuff sometimes that you don't like, but I can promise you that there will be an end to that journey. As long as you get on that journey, you take action with it. So that's the best I can give you without more information. Okay, Todd asks, Jeff, this is the best webinar I've participated in. Great. That's awesome. I'd love to hear that. And it really makes me feel grateful that I was able to share something you really felt was valuable. So fantastic. I see myself as a successful coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. Currently, I am unemployed, married with 2 children, and facing eviction. All right. I feel as if I need to get I think he's saying traditional here, traditional job, initially to stop the financial bleeding before I can do anything. I would love to work with you, but I can barely keep a roof over my head. I've learned a lot from you simply from this webinar. Do you have any suggestions on how to start a coaching business from this point in my life? Yeah, just start it, first of all. I started in the trailer, as you might know at this point. So the best time to start a coaching business is now, especially if that's what you're meant to do. And it sounds like you are. So if you're really meant to do this, waiting around to have everything, all the stars align, whether it be because, you're no longer facing eviction or you've got $1 million or whatever, it's BS ultimately. Long term, it just amounts to a lot of BS. And so first of all, we got to get really honest with ourselves and say, this is what I was meant to do. I need to start doing it. Now, do you need to do it full time and just sacrifice your entire family and just say, well, guys, sorry, we're going to be homeless and I'm going to do this? No, of course not, right? You got to be smart. But yeah, get started. You need to get started. Even if you're doing an hour a day, that's plenty of time. That'll make you progress. And then you can work on dealing with your other issues, and put plenty of time into that as well. I run multiple businesses. This is an area where we train coaches. I also work with a lot of clients. We work with the largest companies in the world. We work with business consulting with small and medium-sized businesses. I also run local businesses that we have, franchises that my family owns, and I consult with them and help them, and I'm part owner in those areas. So I got a lot of stuff on my plate, And not all of it goes perfectly all the time, right? But I still know what my mission is in life, and I know what I'm here to do. And as I think I mentioned in the webinar, when I was facing, I was, maybe you're not going to be around for much longer. I had no regrets about that, and I will have no regrets. I know now, because I'm never going to stop doing this no matter what the circumstances. I'll find a way to do it. So when you're not willing to move that piece on the chessboard, all the other pieces can revolve around it and work themselves out, or you can support that in working out without just giving up your dream and giving up who you are. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, look, if you're facing these issues, you probably need to go get a job that makes some money. It may not be an amazing job or a job that you love, but you can wait tables, you could sell shoes, you can go do some basic stuff that makes a decent hourly wage, hopefully a relatively high paying wage that you can do part-time. And people wait tables part-time all the time. It's a great example. You give good service, you get tips, make a couple $100 in a night or a day and a night or something like that. Work a couple, 2-3 days a week, and the rest of your time you either get off or work on your coaching business, and it just make ends meet. So there are ways to manage that if you have to. Is it better? Is it faster if you just work 100% of your coaching business? Because when I started my coaching business, I wasn't doing anything else. I didn't do anything. I had no other jobs. I had no other ways to make ends meet. I did coaching business and nothing else. Is that faster in terms of how quickly you'll grow your business? Probably it is. But realistically, with a couple kids and other commitments on your end, you're probably right. You probably need to get at least a part-time job to make ends meet, and then figure out how to make some money as a coach. One way that you can make money as a coach or in the coaching industry is to work for coaches. I hire coaches all the time, either to coach for me or to make videos with us, or to write articles with us, or help me with content. It's all sorts of stuff that coaches do within my business, and they don't necessarily have a full practice yet, but we support them in building that dream as they're working in the industry and making good money simultaneously. So, talk to people in the industry and work for them. Get working in the industry, even if you're not like just to have your own coaching business as of yet. It's a great way to get started while you possibly have another job that is helping make ends meet. Janet asks, my mega niche is wellness, emotional wellness. Wellness is a great niche, as we talked about, and emotions are a part of wellness. There's no doubt. Should I be specific as grief recovery coach after? I think you already asked. I think I already answered that one. Better to be very specific. Okay, yeah, we talked about that, Janet. I think. All right, Dr. Caspian says, I've given free talks. I've been on the radio, TV locally in my local poverty-stricken region, with many who expect free care, never willing to pay. Internet feels like a solution, or moving. Maybe both, Let's put it this way. If your region is poverty-stricken, you need to get a fast car that gets you out of that region so you can go do talks in rich areas. In fact, chances are, even in the most poverty-stricken areas of the states, at least, there's usually a couple rich areas, right? So go to those areas, go door to door, find the Starbucks, find the library, find the community centers of those richer areas, and give talks to them. I'm not saying you can't help poor people too, but you got to be realistic about what will make sense in the business. So relocating your focus in terms of talks and in terms of what you're doing there is going to make you more money. And then also the internet is definitely a solution, as we discussed before. Okay, Galen says, what are the four? I think we're talking about the 4 survival needs here. 4 survival needs are certainty, the need to feel like you have some control over your life. You're going to be able to consistently and comfortably avoid pain and gain pleasure, or at least avoid pain. Variety, because if we do too much certainty, we get bored. We want a little variety, a little spice of life, if you will. And this is proven in biochemistry. If we just do the same thing for hours and hours, we start to go through a adrenal reaction, or literally the body needs variety, right? So variety is a survival need. Sense of significance, feeling proud, powerful, important, like you're different than other people, like you stand out in some way, like you're in some way special. We all have a need to feel worthy or significant within ourselves. And then finally, love and connection, which we talked about, I believe, during the webinar as well. We all have a deep need throughout our life to experience connection and hopefully love, which is kind of that higher level of connection that most people are pursuing, if not, and everybody needs it, even if they're not willing to honestly admit that they need it as well. So certainty, variety, significance, and love and connection. These are all things that are survival needs. We must meet these 4 needs. Shamika says, it's done. Something for me also. It seemed as if you were talking to me. Thanks for this webinar. You got it. Absolutely, Shamika. I appreciate it. And, the coaches have many problems, many different issues, many different goals, many different things that they're trying to overcome. Many of them, however, are not unique, and although we're all unique in some ways, the challenges that I help with coaches with, and the challenges that you chances are have in your business and in your life to try to make this coaching business work, are chances are challenges that I've helped many, if not hundreds of other coaches overcome consistently, because there are patterns in success and failure in any industry and in any part of life. And success leaves clues, as Tony Robbins always used to tell me when he was mentoring me. And so when we find those clues and it leads us to the answers, we can share that with a lot of people who have those same issues or the same things that they need to learn. So I'm glad it made a difference for you, and I hope it continues to do so. Let me know how it's going. Michelle, I started not to attend, but I'm glad I did. I'm going to print out new cards of business for my business tomorrow. I feel amazing. I'm grateful for you providing this to us all. Thanks so much. And Michelle is the one that we actually worked with during the webinar, if you missed it. And Michelle says, Texas, here I come. I'm ready. So Michelle was having some challenges with how is she going to approach this new market, and we resolved that for her. You can see the excitement. So it's really, really great, Michelle. Can't wait to see how you do. I enjoyed working with you tonight. I will contact you once I get settled. Sign up for coaching. I've been looking at many coaches, but I love your style. I love that you're spiritual. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for that. Can't wait to start working with you. All right, Shamika. This was awesome. Really cool, Shamika. Thank you so much. I'll see you in Florida. Really, really cool. Yeah, our certification's coming up in Florida very soon, depending on when you're listening to this video. And we have another one in San Diego, depending on where you are. And we have virtual available as well now. Robert says or asks, what training would you recommend to a person who wants to focus on being a business coach? It's really the same, although in certification we have a whole day dedicated to business coaching and we have a whole day dedicated to personal coaching. There is overlap in those areas, but there are certain skills that lend themselves more to business coaching than personal, but they obviously are impactful for people personally as well, and then vice versa. So certification training works with both those modalities. And really when it comes down to it, everything that we learn as a coach, everything that we do as coaches can impact anyone. It's just a matter of how we niche it ultimately. So yes, business expertise is great, but the coaching skills, let's put it this way. I have a team of coaches, and that team works with, we're talking about managers and leaders in the Fortune 100, the Fortune 10, in fact. We work with Shell Oil, we work with Dole Fresh Vegetables, we work with city governments, and when we train those coaches, we personally train those coaches. We train them in coaching skills. Not business coaching skills and not personal coaching skills. We train them in coaching, how to be great coaches. And the same coaching skills they use to coach a housewife or a carpenter or somebody on drugs or something like that, it's the same skills they use to coach those managers on the oil platforms or the team at the local government or whatever. It's the same stuff. So hopefully that's clear. All right, Dr. Caspian says, did I understand that the live training is included in the premium? Yes. Everything that is in everything that's mentioned in the lower investment levels is also included. It's under the umbrella of the more premium levels that we talked about in the webinar. So hopefully that's clear as well. The live training is included in all of the levels. If you just want to do the live training, you can go ahead and make that investment. It's a smaller investment. If you want to include the DVD courses and the Quick Start program, the boot camps, the virtual and all that stuff, then we're talking about the premium levels. let me correct myself. The virtual, if you can't make it to one of the locations and you just want to do the live training, you can do just virtual, however, and you can do that for the lower investment amount. You don't have to necessarily travel to still experience the live training. We'll just have it Memorex versus live. All right, Lorraine says, is health coaching considered personal coaching? Yeah, I would probably call it personal coaching, but again, the categorization probably not as important as knowing your niche. Dr. Caspian says, do not see the details of the packages. You'll see those details in the emails that I'm sending you either now or soon, depending on what your timing is right now when you're listening to this video. So you should be getting emails from me. If you're not, then email me or call me at you can call me directly at 858-707-5920. That's 858-707-5920. And just leave me a message with your contact info, and I'll get back with you and make sure that you get what you need if you're not getting the emails from us. And you can also get in touch with my assistant, Jackie Altman. Her email is Jackie Altman, JackieAltman @gmail.com. That's Jackie Altman @gmail.com, and she can get you in touch with me too. All right, let's see. Dr. Caspian says, thanks so much for your time. Your enthusiasm shines through, and I'm very interested, especially in learning more about online skills. Fantastic. We're just starting a retreat, a 5-workday retreat called the Internet Client Machine Retreat, where we have a very deep dive into the internet side of things. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But if you just go through certification, you're getting a lot of that information and a lot of help in that area as well. And Robert says, can a person buy your entry-level program and upgrade later if they decide that they want to go to the next level they're learning and enjoying your training? Yeah, you could do that. Now, look, our prices do go up from time to time, so do understand that if you upgrade when we have raised our prices, then you'll need to pay the difference between what you paid and the increase, whatever that happens to be. But other than that, I'm open to that depending on the situation. So get in touch with me personally if you've got a sticking point around that. But generally speaking, we pretty much allow that because we really just want to make a difference for you. And we know if you're starting at a certain level and you want to work with us at a deeper level, that's what we're here for, right? So we're excited to do that, and we're happy to do that. Other than the business realities, I probably wouldn't have any issue with that just about any time at all. So those are the questions and those are the answers. Hope this made a difference for you. Look forward to working with you soon. Get in touch with me. You got any other questions as well? I'll see if I can answer those over replying to comments on the blog, and I'll email you back as well. Look forward to working with you in certification training. And no matter what you do, I hope this makes a difference for you and helps you grow your practice and your coaching business and to really change lives and get paid. Look forward to talking to you soon.